So let's go over what we covered in this module. Well, the first thing that we did is we talked about exceptions in general and got kind of a good understanding of why exceptions exist in Java and why you would use them and kind of the whole idea behind exceptions. Basically then they make error handling a lot easier in your code rather than trying to pass back error codes like you might have done back in the C days. Then we looked at some code. I showed you how to actually implement exception in Java, and we covered some of the basic here. We didn't cover everything that has to do with exceptions, but I showed you, the basics of setting up a try block and a catch block in order to be able to catch exceptions and deal with exceptions. Then we went into the finally statement, and I showed you how to set up a finally block, and we learned that a finally block can be used to execute some code regardless of what happens, whether or not there is an exception thrown or the code executes normally without an exception. Then we talked a little bit about checked and unchecked exceptions, which are the basic two types of exceptions in Java. We talked about how checked exceptions have to either be caught or you have to specify that you are going to throw that exception in your method, and how there is kind of strict rules around this. Then we looked at unchecked exceptions, and we saw that unchecked exceptions basically don't have to be caught, or that they don't have any rules surrounding them, and that these kind of exceptions are typically exceptions that you might not really want to catch because there is not much you can do about them. And then finally we covered some of the best practices around exception handling in Java.